Church. I'm Pastor Mike Shepard, and it's like a typical Sunday. Everybody sits in back. Nobody wants to sit in front, but that's okay. There's plenty of seats. Hopefully the temperature's good for everybody. I just want to give it a little shout out to our ministry. We have our food pantry we do every other week, and that's what they're setting up for in the lobby. So I apologize for the clutter, but we feed about 100 families every 2 weeks on Saturday mornings. And although a lot of people in Green Garden may not need it, if you know somebody in the area that needs assistance, you can send them our way. That's what we're about. We want to be a church family for your family. We have a really vibrant seniors ministry. We minister to the seniors in our area. We just got done with our sports camp where we had 250 kids for a whole week outside. It was crazy in that heat. But we've been in Green Garden for a long time. We want to be a good community member. I went to the previous meeting where they were trying to figure out when to have this meeting because the facility and the date they had was fixed and it couldn't be moved. And so we offered the church because we're part of the community too. And so I live in Green Garden and love to know that you've got a board that's looking to do some things and make sure everybody's aware. I thought that was a really good thing on their part. And I thought, well, hey, we can open the church up for it. It's one night. With that being said, I want you to know that our main focus of our ministry is about the gospel, right? 2 Corinthians 5:21 says, "For our sake, he who knew no sin became sin, so that we might become the righteousness of God." And our point of a ministry is to glorify Jesus and all that he does and minister to the people he sends to us and the people in our community. Green Garden Township over the years has given us money for our food pantry, donations that make it possible to do some of the things that we do. We're grateful for that. It's about having good community mindedness. So I want to thank you all for coming on our behalf. With that being said, also I want to just say, be mindful that we are a church. It's the Lord's house. And we have a Bible study that's going on in back. I usually do a Bible study on Thursday nights here. And we're in the back room over there. I'll stay for as long as I can, but then I'm going to probably venture out there. But just remember, we want to have proper decorum, respect all people. We in the Christian church worldwide, we can't agree on all issues, but we can be respectful. And we can be, understanding that difference of opinions don't necessarily mean to bring hostility or any of those things. So I just want to caution that we just be mindful of that. So if you need some water, just from logistic things, in the back of the church is the bathrooms, and right before that is the kitchen, and right inside the kitchen there's cups, and there's a water fountain there that you can grab some water. If you need something else, please reach out to me or anybody out in the lobby, and they'll help you get whatever you need. And if there's anything else that we could do for you, let us know, and we're always here to help and be of help and be of service. And that's why I was glad to meet a lot of people. They know we're here, they've never been here, right? And it's nice for you to come in, you can see what the facility's all about and what we're all about, and it's a great way for us to introduce ourselves to you. If you have any questions about that, please don't hesitate to ask. That's what we're here for. I just want to start your meeting off with a prayer, and then I'll turn it over to your Township Board. But again, I want to just, it's with gratitude that we're able to do this, and we just want to make sure we are able to be a service to the community whenever we can and whenever we're asked. So pray with me. Father in heaven, we thank you as we come together tonight, Lord. May we be mindful of your presence. May we be understanding, Lord, that our job is to seek to understand. And we ask, Lord, that you would just be with us as the board here conducts their business. And Lord, we're just grateful that we can be part of a community that, Lord, wants to serve one another and cares about one another. And we just want to foster that and facilitate that. Thank you, Lord, for the facility that we have. You've provided it, you've given it, and I just ask that you be with the meeting tonight. Be all those who are here, those who are speaking, and those who are asking questions. And Lord, that you just have your hand upon it all for their good and your glory. And I pray this in your name, Jesus. Amen. Just so everybody knows, we are half a building. That's what everybody says. It's the church that's a half building. Someday we hope to build on the other side, sooner rather than later. But we love the community and we love being able to serve. And so thank you again. And I'm going to turn it over to who? Who gets this mic? Chrissy?
Okay. I need 1 minute.
1 minute.
1 minute. So,
Any questions? Any questions about the ministry before you get your meeting started? Yes. When the sign, it took us almost a year and a half to get a permit. It's up, it's running. We just haven't figured out how to program it yet. It'll only stay on till 9 o'clock, so we know the rules and everything like that. But yeah, we had rules. But it'll be good because we can announce the things that we do. You know, we do a lot of community events. We do a lot of things for single moms. And having a sign out there when people drive by, you never know who sees it. And if they come in, it's good. So hopefully, yes, sir. 10:30. All right. Hold on. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Okay. All right, so it's 7:05, and I'm going to call the meeting to order. And I'm going to start that by asking everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, everybody. All right, I'm going to start out by reading a couple things that we're going to kind of go by. And after I go through this, then we're going to select the moderator. So first, I'm going to start by saying that this is a meeting of the electors. The electors are defined as voting residents of Green Garden Township. By statute, only electors can participate during our discussion. However, every meeting requires public comments, so non-voting residents will be asked and can give their opinion during public comments. Can you hear me? We ask that everyone be respectful and courteous to all residents. Do not interrupt a resident when they have been given the floor to speak by the moderator. Please direct your comments to the moderator, and please stop your comments when the allotted time is up, which the moderator will discuss that when they get elected. So, with that being said, I am going to... Okay. So the allotted time is going to be 1 to 2 minutes, depending on how many residents are in attendance. The moderator will determine the time limit, 1 or 2 minutes that will be given equally to each resident. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to ask the electors to nominate a moderator, or nominations for a moderator. Jim, or if you could state your name. Okay. Do I have a second?
If I could just, I appreciate the nomination, but I will also be giving the presentation of the 4 options. So I thought it would be best if we had a different moderator, you know, other than myself, because again, I'm going to be giving the 4 options. So I was going to nominate Wes Shepard. So, okay, thank you. That way I'm not up there, I'm doing everything. Thank you.
Are there any other nominations? Yes, can you state your name? Can you spell your last name? Okay. Any other nominations? Do I have a second? Are there any other nominations?
Tim Stout. I would like to nominate Ashley Sashnick. Second.
Your name? Yes.
I'd like to nominate
Okay, can you stand up and say your name? This is for the moderator for the meeting. What was your name? Okay. And who are you nominating? Mark. Caucasian, okay.
I have a question. If you're a moderator, can you still have your opinions and comments? No. If that's a no, then thank you much. You're welcome. Use my opinion.
There's no more nominations. Okay. Well, we have to, so technically by a show of hands, we're supposed to pick. So I have right now nominated, I have Wesley Shepherd, Josh Sneddon, and Ashley. Sorry, there's a lot of names here.
Then we want to announce your qualifications. I'm Wesley Shepherd. One of the other guys.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to do this by a show of hands, so right here, somebody needs to come here and help me count this out. I have to do by a show, I'm gonna call out the three people and it's gonna be by a show of hands. So, let's start with Wesley. Yes. Okay, well, this is gonna be a minute, so, everybody bear with me. I'm just gonna go down the rules, 1, 2, 3. Is that how you wanna do it? Okay, how do I explain that? I think I can just.
Going home on a workout.
I got two. Okay. A lot of people. Okay. Sorry. For a show of hands for Joshua Sneddon. Okay. How about for Ashley Stashniak? Okay, so I'm going to say Wesley is the moderator. Here you go, Wes.
Okay, so
All right, thank you very much.
yeah, there's no compensation. Go to the next. You don't want to be compensated, do you? Okay.
Okay, so now, next on the agenda is the presentation by the supervisor.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for coming. A great turnout. So if I could just mention just a couple things. We have 4 options that I'll go over briefly without prejudice. The whole idea of the meeting is to hear from the residents, but I do want to go through those 4 options. I also want to say one resident passed out these almost to everybody, and it does have the same logo that the township uses, and I don't believe there's a name on it. So I just want everyone to know that even though there's some good ideas on here, this is not the position of the Township Board. The Township Board does not have a collective position or opinion on this. That's the very reason why we're all here. So we're looking forward to hearing from whoever would like to. Also, there's sheets that you could write on and hand them in at the end if you don't get an opportunity. So with this many people, we'll go with 1 minute to share which option you prefer. But before we do that, I'm going to go through the 4. Then I'm going to ask, is there any other options that maybe someone else has? And we'll hear that, and then we'll turn it over. We'll ask people to come up. Is there a microphone somewhere here, or where's the?
There's one on each side.
Oh, okay, very good. Okay, so time is moving along quick here, so let's go to that first option, please.
So what is the current state of that building? It's not our building, it's leased back for a low amount.
He's going to cover that.
If you could do this, for the sake of time, I meant to mention this, that's a good question. When it comes time for the electors to come forward and talk, you could start with a question, and if it's a question that needs an answer, a longer answer, we're going to give more time. Because if I have to answer it, we're not going to take that time away from what you have to say. Okay? So if you could just hold that just for a minute. So the first option, and these are not in any one order, there's 4 options that have already been given to us by residents. The first one is to continue the town hall renovation. It's a $500,000 to $1.2 million project. Phase 1 is $500,000, and that comes from a grant through Will County. So the first phase is paid for with that grant. What's in the first phase, you'll see, if you could read it in the back, I don't know, is a brand new HVAC system, which is heat and air conditioning, water heater and softener, large ADA compliant restrooms. The kitchen would be converted into an office and a septic system. What was also in phase 2, because I spoke to the engineer and Trustee Dietz and I had a face-to-face meeting with the head engineer for this project. And what was in there was paving of the parking lot, but it went over budget, so you had to pull it out. And then phase 2 had other things involved in it, so there's no money for that. So there is money for the $500,000 for the grant. And you see, I just put quick photos up, 2 photos inside in case anyone has never been in the town hall. Okay, second option that has been given to us already is move the existing town hall to the 43 acres of land that we own and partially renovate it. Trustee Monroe has been great in trying to find a mover to give us a rough price. We have a rough price, and this is just an estimate. We haven't had him, really look into it. We send some photos and things until we figure out what option. But he said it'd be about $120,000 to move the building to the land that we own, which is about 1.5 miles south on Center Road. The plan could include a walking trail and park, if we chose that. In the future, we can add a community center, and the existing town hall, at that point, could become a township museum. So a lot of ideas with that. Next slide, please. Ooh, we're missing some photos there. This is an important photo that I wanted to show you, even on the other. Could you go back a slide, 1 second? Yeah, we're missing the photos on that too. But there should have been 2 photos up there that shows the land, a Google Earth photo of the land. There's 30 acres, which is Park District. There's 7.14 acres and 6 acres, but it's all together. And so we would move the township hall. Okay. So we would, in this option, we would move that town hall to either the 6 or the 7 acres, and then we'd have 30 acres plus in the future to put, like I said, a park, walking trail, that type of thing.
Click the button next to the mic.
Yeah, play from current slide, the second on the upper left, second to the right, play from current slide. Yeah, that's a good question, and I was going to get to that. So the $120,000, and I don't want to delay it with a lot of details because we really want to hear from you, but Ralph and I, Trustee Ralph and I, had a face-to-face meeting with the head engineer. I spoke over 2 to 3, almost 3 hours, twice, with the company that is handling the grant on behalf of Will County. And she had told me a few very interesting things. One is, it's possible that we would not be able to get grant money to move the building. It may be, it may not be. It's a wait and see. You have to put your application in and see. Because there's something called a positive impact or a positive outcome. So whatever money that we have already invested in the town hall renovation, which is about $10,000, whatever that money is, if a lot of it's engineering, and we can't use that same engineering on another option, yes, it's possible that we would have to pay out of pocket for that. But we'd also be able to use the other $350,000 on that other option, is what she said. Okay, so the third option is very similar. Go ahead and just keep forwarding it through. Third option is purchase an existing building. All right, let me talk about that option though, while you get that going. Another option, and maybe you all have sheets there that have these options, if you could give me one. But one of the options is we purchase a building, a brand new building, maybe a metal building or something. That's the picture in the upper right. It's not necessarily the one we're talking about, just to give you an idea. And we would move that on our land that we already own. Cost could be $750,000, who knows, depends how big and that kind of thing. But that is an option that was presented to us. The plan could include a walking trail and a park, and in the future we can add a community center. So the focus would be on this right here. This is a close-up view of it, and then that's kind of a bird's eye view there. Okay? Okay, yeah, Center Road. That's Center Road there, and then that other road, it's about 1.5 miles.
This is center, right?
No,
This is
that's
Center,
Center,
yes.
yeah. Yeah, Center and about Pauling is where it's at. Yeah, right in there. Center and about Pauling. So all the activity would be over here on the 36, the 40-some acres there. Okay, and then the fourth option is purchase an existing building. The existing building is Trustee Monroe's building that's up here as an option. It's not currently on the market. Monroe is interested in selling it. And I'll address some of the challenges. It's 3,600 square feet with a full unfinished basement that sits on 3 acres. It's right on Monee Manhattan Road, east of Route 45. Many of you may have seen this building before. That's the backyard in the upper right, and then the inside of the building there. One of the concerns that we had as a board, and some residents also had, was, is this a conflict of interest? I mean, that's a good concern. We're obviously concerned about it. So we contacted our township attorney, and she investigated it, researched it, and she also spoke to the Will County State's attorney. And her legal opinion, which I have a legal opinion that she sent me, is that there is not a conflict of interest, and here's why. Because the electors would have to vote this in. The board doesn't have the authority to sign a contract to buy a property. The board doesn't have a contract to lease a property. So this option we'd all get together again and we would vote. Do we want something like this? So she's convinced that because of that, there isn't, because then Monroe would not be the person voting for his own building to be sold. It's out of the board's hands. It's in the elector's hands. Okay, so that's the fourth one. All right, so if we could advance the slide, please. Here's the fourth. Again, continue the town hall renovation. 2, move existing town hall to the 43 acres of land we own and partially renovate it. 3, build a new town hall on our 43 acres of land we own. And 4th, purchase an existing building. Advance the slide, please. Okay, at this point, before we have people come up and give an opinion, is there anybody that has another option that you've been thinking about?
If you don't mind making your way to
Yeah,
one of
could
the
you make your way
microphones,
to the mic over
just
there?
so
Mike?
everyone can hear you. It's not.
So,
And state your name, please.
Yes, please state your name.
yeah, we're going to give, because depending on how many people want to speak, we're going to give like 1 minute to give an opinion on which option and maybe why. But with a new option, we want to give a little more time than that because we know these 4 options. They've been explained. So, Mike, take a couple minutes, if you would, please, and give us your other option. And then, Chrissy, if you could jot it down, please.
Okay, my option number 5 would be, following on with option number 4, I don't think that's the only building, though, we should be considering. When I look at my tax bill, I see multiple taxing bodies on there. And I think that what one taxing body does often affects the other taxing body. So we know that this Will County widening of Manhattan-Monee Road has forced some taxing bodies to make decisions. But we're making them in silos rather than in concert. So I think that we should be looking at possibly working with the school board. They're trying to sell PIC. They're going to have a hard time selling that building for anything that is fit for purpose. I think that if we can utilize that, then our tax dollars are going to go to purchase something that's also on our tax bill that's going to assist that situation. I think also with the advantages of buying that school building, it does have a lot of square footage, but it could also be utilized with other taxing bodies. For instance, with the county, they may be able to utilize satellite offices for the Will County clerk, the Will County land use, also with the health department that they're currently renting property, building in Monee. Possibly they can move that to Green Garden. This gets people coming to Green Garden. It makes that building useful. It's tax dollars helping tax dollars. Also, down the line, it possibly could also be used as a satellite station for the Will County Police Department if we ever got to that level. With the land that we have, the 43 acres, I think that we could also use that for recreation. We could work with the school board, with their ag sciences, to let them use that property. We could use it for a walking trail for our senior citizens and other recreational uses for sports teams. So I think that the 43 acres doesn't go unused. I think that the current building could utilize the grant money, and we could move that building, rather than 1.5 miles, we could move it 1/4 acre. We already have the parking, we already have the well and septic. We don't need to improve the land that it currently sits on. We can move it 1/4 acre, and we have a fully functional building that, obviously, we would have to update the HVAC and some money into that, but it doesn't have to be done right away. And it's tax dollars helping tax dollars, and it's governmental bodies working together. And I think that's much better than giving it to a private citizen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay. Any other new options that people may have? And then we'll go to
Comments.
the comments, yes. Mark, are you, okay.
Comments, concerns, questions.
Yeah, please just raise your hand and then we'll get you up there and state your name, please.
Hello, Mark Sarkeesian. Are we ready?
Yes.
First of all, I like the school idea, but that's just my opinion. What I think, can we go back one slide where you show the other 4? I think that, that number 1 is by itself. I think that if we take the grant money that we earned in working with Will County to fix our current building, that it doesn't mean that we have to stay there. We could still do option 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And I think that we should for sure take the free money and update our building. Use it, not use it. If we do one of the other options, we still have a museum, whatever we want to do. And then I also think, and this should be explored a little bit more, but where some people vote at the firehouse, just right down on LaGrange, that looks like it's a pretty big meeting area. We could have our annual meetings there too, either while we're updating that building, we're pursuing options 2, 3, 4, or 5. But to me, that's not really an option, it's separate. And I just don't want people to think that, hey, if we sink money in there, which it's free money, that we have to stay there and we can't do anything else. When the fact is, we've got grant money to fix our
Is
building.
this a new idea? I'm just curious.
It is.
Okay.
It's making that not look like it's an option where it's an either or.
Well, wouldn't the second one proceed if we move the building, you'd still invest all that money into it?
Yeah, you might, because then if it gets damaged, you can get it fixed, or you move it first and then you fix it
Yeah.
after.
This is for new options,
yeah,
first
go
off.
with
Right?
Yeah, well, another part of being a new option is we can meet at the firehouse. Safer, bigger parking, another free building. So that's why I came up for new options, because it's a new way of looking at these, so.
So it's a kind of a combination of,
But I just don't want people to think that if you do one, you can't do anything else.
sure.
That was it, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, yes, we have someone coming forward. If you could raise your hand when you, and then we'll call on you there. Yeah.
Yeah, Ralph Sangmeister. My idea is just maintain the town hall as is, whatever it takes minimally. And if we have to go to a different venue for larger crowds, we got plenty of choices in the township. The township can just rent a facility as needed, half a dozen times a year, or whatever it takes. We don't have to spend money on a building or anything. Just go the option of maintaining the town hall for now and renting a facility as needed.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we're into the 1 minute comments. Now, keep in mind, I should have mentioned this, this is the electorate time for only voting members to come up, because this is a meeting of the electors. But what we're going to do is we're going to cut it off at a certain time and then go to officially public comments where anybody could also come up. So that way we're hearing from everybody.
Do you want to answer questions? You want to bring the questions up to the microphone, if you don't mind? Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
My name is Anthony Cantone. I'm just wondering, have we explored the property where the township has the highway department? Is there room there to build a building? And if so, why don't we take, I know a lot of people feel that building is historic, and yes, we want to save some parts of that, but we could dismantle that and use some of those parts on the facade of a new building down there. Let's say like a pole building or something. In the front of that, you could use these blocks that are on there and utilize that property that's there at the highway department. I don't know if there's enough room there. I don't know how much property is there. I don't know if that's been explored, but that's my opinion on another option.
Could we get Road Commissioner Hilliard to just quickly comment on that, if as far as the room, how much room we have?
I'm not sure the amount of acreage that we have there. And obviously, we could squeeze it in there, but I use almost every bit of space for spoils and things like that, so it wouldn't negatively impact me. But if push came to shove, we could always make room for something like that.
Okay, good. All right. If nobody has any other new options, then we're going to go to the electorates. So if you are a voting resident, please come forward. I'm going to give you guys 1 minute for now, okay? And I got a timer. I'm not going to try to be rude. I'm just following the rules. All right? Go ahead.
Yes, I think there's something to be said for committing to the land we already own and turning it into a central community point. I guess more of a question regarding moving the town hall. What responsibilities do we have to restore the land after the town hall moves?
That is a good question. Do you want to?
From my understanding, and Monroe, Trustee Monroe has spoken to the family that gave us this land. Monroe, is it correct that we would have to restore, if we moved the town hall, we would have to expense the tanks that are in the ground, is that correct?
Whatever's there, you have to be leveled off, you have to put back like permission this one. Yes, any footings, foundations, you know, all that,
Okay.
kind of put back the way it was.
Sure.
I don't see anyone
The
at the mic,
questions don't really
so-
count, so.
Yeah, you got a little time.
So, what
Yeah, you have to-
plans, if
after him,
any, already exist from maybe prior boards regarding what we wanted to do with that land we acquired?
Could you actually repeat that one more time?
Yeah, so I know the new board is mostly new members, so I'm wondering what plans may have existed regarding those 43 acres beyond, like, we have these 4 proposals, but was there a plan that exists today that?
What? Yeah, no, there was, but it's essentially the plans that we put up here.
It's this
Yeah.
plan. Okay,
It's the
thank you.
moving, putting park, essentially.
We weren't aware of any previous
We weren't
plans.
aware
Yeah,
of it
not like a
before,
park
but-
or football fields or things like that.
I
That
think they
wasn't-
bought the land with that intention, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there was no plan.
There was no
Awesome.
plan
Thank you.
No,
set
no
in place.
official,
Yeah, that was a
no,
clarification.
yeah, no contractual plan or something.
I just have a question.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll just give you this.
I just have a question. My name is Mark Jensen. I live across the road here. I heard that they're going to widen the road. So what happens with that building when they widen the road? Wouldn't it have to be moved? I mean, are they going to drive around? Or are you going to have a circle around? That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know.
Yes, it would curve, the engineer at Will County is prepared to curve the road around the building.
Road is actually going to move around it because it's considered historic.
You can go ahead.
Is
I
this
don't think it's
working?
his-
It's actually moving in front of PIC, even closer, to avoid this building. Question regarding the 43 acres of land. What's the current revenue that the township receives for that land?
Ralph, Trustee Ralph, do you have that answer?
$10,000 a year?
9 or 10, he said.
9 to 10? Okay, and regarding the idea of using road district property, is the road district and the township two separate entities?
Yes.
Can that be intermixed, or would the township need to lease anything they used at road district?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the road district's a serious, I mean, yeah, there's not really room, so
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
I think that was just a question. If you could come up to the mic, I'd appreciate it. I do feel bad for some of you, though. I can bring a mic to you if you know.
So, first off, my head is like firing questions. There's not enough time in the day to ask the questions that I have. The 43 acres, you said is Park District? 30 of it? Am I incorrect in thinking that?
30 acres is,
What Park District?
it just was, it would be ours if
But
we.
whose is it right now? Who's
It's a Green Garden, it's Green Garden owns the acreage, but is designated strictly for Park District. We cannot build on it.
Okay, so currently it's just being farmed, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so, that's a great idea. Build a walking trail, build all that stuff. What do you need for that?
Money.
Money, where are you gonna get it?
Or
From us.
grants. I don't know if this was
Okay,
mentioned
so-
too. We would
so
do due
that's,
diligence.
I have that as one question, but my other questions are, all of these options seem very vague in price, about this much, or about that much. And in today's day, I don't think that you should have such vague numbers about $10,000 for that property that's being farmed. You get about that. That to me seems kind of odd. The other thing is, in a day where corporations are moving away from buildings and people coming into those buildings, I don't understand why we're going towards that in such a small rural community. Those are my opinions.
Can you state
Thank
your
you.
name, please?
Yeah, which,
Thank you.
Ashley Stashniak, for the record. I have an idea to expand option 3.
You might have to talk directly at the top.
Testing. Okay. So I have an idea to expand on option 3. I am on the board for the Peatone Blue Demons, our youth football and cheer program that this year we have 168 players. We grow every year by 10 to 15 players. We have an idea of putting our football fields on some of this land. Our program would pay for the football fields for installation. We would maintain the fields. And then because we are a non-for-profit, we can have things donated. And we would like to have 3 acres of parking lot, paved parking lot, donated. We currently operate out of the back of the junior high, behind the high school football field. We have 2 shipping containers there. One is our storage unit, one is our concession stand. So we would move those to the new facility, and we would operate out of those. We would hope to be able to work together in building a brick and mortar concession stand with brick and mortar bathrooms for people to use, and then maybe some sort of phased development that added more things for the kids in the community, maybe baseball fields, soccer fields. You can ask questions. You have questions? But that was a question and a concern. You know, if you're putting in these fields, who's paying for that and who's maintaining them? The Blue Demons would take care of that. Where pick?
Yes.
No, so the
Guys-
Blue Demons is not the school. It's the youth program.
Could you? Yeah.
Right.
Guys, I want to make sure we're not talking to each other, please. So that's how little rivalries will start. So please don't. If you do have a question, I can bring you in a mic, or if you can come up and ask it. And just so that you guys got separate time, yeah. If you want to ask your question.
Well, first of all, they said something before about selling the school. Now somebody says they're not selling the school.
Yeah.
They could use all his football facilities at the middle school, whatever you call it. It was grade school as far as I'm concerned. And the other thing I'm going to say, since I have the mic, is since we have these options, we as the residents of Green Garden should be able to vote on it.
Yeah, well, you would, if it is purchasing something. So. Yes. Oh, what's your name?
Forms.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Ashley. Are you good, or you want to finish up?
What, Ashley? I just have a question. What would you need from the township in order to do that?
To be able to put a football field?
Just permission?
Permission. We would have a contract, an agreement that we would be using the facility. We would provide the insurance for the areas that we use. We would also install the security cameras, and we would pay to maintain all of that to make sure the facilities were safe, and not only just the football fields that we built, but any other facilities. If we put a pond in with a water fountain, and just to make sure everything is safe.
Got it. All right. If you want to, thank you so much. Can he address this question first, and then you can ask yours?
Yeah, because
I don't want to get sidetracked.
aware of this, that so options would come back to the electors, and the electors would have to vote on it. The only authority that the township board has is to renovate a property. Anything else, buy, sell, or lease, goes to the electors. I confirmed that with our township attorney. It's in the Township of Illinois manual. That's the way it is. So there's power in us as residents, as electors. You have to be an elector You have to be on the voting register, but you could register if you haven't. But just so you know that if the board talks about this and we move in a certain direction that's anything but the renovation, we will be coming back as a group to actually vote. This is an informational meeting, so please keep that in mind.
Yeah, we're not taking votes here. Yes, we just want to stay on topic, just so he can. He has a question.
Ashley, my name is Pete Patton. I'm a resident here, obviously. Are you representing Peatone School District authorized to offer that deal to us, or is this something you're just spitballing, or?
I'm representing Peatone Youth Football and Cheer Blue Demons.
Okay.
It's a rec program.
Okay.
It's a non-for-profit program within Peatone. It's
Okay.
separate from the school district.
And-
Thanks for the good question.
Yep, and I believe it's a great idea to work with the Peatone School District or the, not-for-profit sports or youth teams. I think that's a great option, personally.
Thank you.
Right, since we pay towards it anyway, so.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
My name is Peter Cezak. I just had a question regarding the plan for the walking trail park community center. Is that contingent on picking option 2 and 3? Can we still do that regardless?
Dean, can you turn on your mic? Dean, can you turn on your mic? It's on the, yeah. It's attached to you.
Peter Cezak.
Question again, please.
The plan for the walking trail park, the community center, is that contingent if we pick option 2 or 3? If we pick option 1, can we still have a plan to use that for the 43 acres?
Yes, that's kind of to Mark Sarkisian's point a little bit. They could be mutually exclusive. Obviously, what would happen is we'd be on our own financially 100% for option 2 or 3. We do have, and I know someone said something about not being specific, we have around $800,000 in our capital fund, but we would have to pay for that as a township to go to 2 and 3, because if we would be using up the grant money, which is going to be about $350,000 left to do option 1, we wouldn't have any grant money available to us for 2 and 3. We'd be on our own completely.
And then I had a second question. Does that mean we used $150 in engineering costs?
Well, we used $110,000 right now, and the way it works is this, that there's something, like I mentioned earlier, there's something called a positive outcome. So we were granted $105,000, which went toward a lot of engineering, a lot of site plan preparation, some testing. So what I was told by the authority that's handling it for the county is a positive outcome means if we pick any other option and that engineering cost can't move with the new option, then we're on our own with that. They will not give us that money. We would have to pay that back. So the thought is, really, I don't know the exact answer because we'd have to submit it to them and they would be telling us, because there's many bills and many invoices that we would have to submit to the county, and they would determine what could be transferred based on the option that we chose. But just to say, there is a lot of engineering and a lot of site plan and some testing that personally I don't think we would recover. If we recovered half of it, I think I would be happy based on the invoices that I've looked at.
Third question, because I am new to this meeting. Does that mean we were looking to do option 1 and went ahead to find all those engineering plans?
Yes, what happened was the board before the new board, which took office May 19th, went forward a couple years back and began the process of number 1. And it has been questioned, and so other options have come forth. But that is correct, it has. You know, with myself, With the widening of the road, I'm not sure if the previous board was aware that there was a widening of the road at the time. I don't know. You'd have to ask them. But yes, they pursued number one. And that's where we're at right now. That's why a decision does have to be made. The other important data to give you is we have until the end of 2026 to utilize the remaining grant money, or we could lose it. So a decision has to be made relatively soon.
Dave Marsh. So option number one, whoever applied for the grant, congratulations, that's a really good idea, it's free money. From my understanding, we've already used $100,000 of the engineering. Does the $400,000 remaining get us to all those steps on the bottom, the AC, the heating, softener, all that stuff?
Yes. Yeah, yes, it does. That's why the parking lot paving was on phase one, but the estimates came in high, so they had to pull that back.
So if we do phase one, which is basically free, there's, what's in phase two that we have to spend another $700,000 for?
Nothing if we don't want to. We could stop there.
Seems like a no-brainer, doesn't it?
Okay, do I have any more? If you don't mind, I mean, I can. Is this
My
a
name's Ed
question or a
Colby.
comment?
I got two quick questions.
Sure.
Could the grant money be used for number 3 or 4?
So we did ask about that.
Yes, it's very possible the grant money could. Remember, if we use 100, there's 400 left. So we would go to the county through this company that handles it for the county, let them know our option. There'd be probably new engineering, new septic, all these new things which would have a positive outcome for that option, and they would grant it. Now, in saying that, you know, again, she said, we'd have to look at it, Dean, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't apply, as long as it had a positive outcome. What they don't want is us to spend money and then walk away from the project and nothing happens.
Yeah.
So the additional 400 could apply to another option.
My other question is, did you ever find out what side the pipeline is on?
Trustee Monroe and Trustee Dietz, who's head of planning and land use, if you want to address that very quickly, Ralph or Monroe.
Can you state your name for the record, sir?
Yeah.
What's your name, sir, for the record?
Ed Colby.
Ed Colby.
Go ahead,
Ralph.
The question was
Side
or south?
Yeah, what side the pipes are on? Are they are they on the same side as our building or the
It's
opposite?
on the north side of the building.
Okay, so it is on our side.
Pipeline.
On our side of the street though, right?
Well, it's, I think, 21 feet and then 6 feet further.
Right.
They said they absolutely will not move.
So they would be going around the building.
So just briefly add to Ralph's statement, the meeting we had there, right now, the way the plan reads is that the county has not moved forward to include the BP pipeline people, to confer with them as far as how this road is going to get developed. Right now, BP is brand new to this idea of road widening by the county. Our stipulation is that the reason for trying to find out about this pipeline is how is it going to affect the town hall? How is it going to affect the school? The only answer I could really get is that BP, and I had 3 of those fellows out to address this problem. They haven't been asked to address the problem because they haven't addressed it with them right now. Maybe eventually down the road they will. The pipeline will move it. But at whose expense and how much? They're involved in the construction of the road, possibly both the building, the town hall, and the pipeline. Not give me or even project any kind of idea.
Okay, my name is Barbara Rizzo. We have the grant money and the plans for Phase 1 for the town hall, and I think we should move forward with that as a separate issue. I think it's wrong that you're conflating all these issues. You've got plenty of time, and I don't think if this grant were not in the picture, we'd even be talking about the town hall right now. So my advice or my opinion would be to move ahead with the town hall renovation and look at all of your other options down the road. Nobody needs to make a decision tonight.
And we aren't making a decision.
I
You
had a
guys,
question.
state your name for the record, you guys.
My name is Jim Shaver. That's SCHAVER. The people building the road, is that, I'm not sure who that is, but have they been asked to incur the cost of moving the current structure rather than changing the shape and location of the road? Yeah, but if they move the whole, the building as part of the price of their project, it might be less money than to
Yeah.
just ask.
It was asked, and the unofficial answer was no.
Hi, my name's Renee Vincent. On average, I would like to know the number of people who attend the monthly meetings. You know, you're talking about moving the building, making a new building. If we don't have this many people attending at every meeting, what's the necessary move? And I don't agree with moving the building. We don't own it. We are only able to use it. If we put this money into it and then we need it for another building somewhere else, what happens?
Yeah.
How many do you have on average
No,
at the meeting?
The last meeting, we had 120, I think, but that was an
But
unusual
that was
one.
similar to
Probably
this.
10 or 15.
That
Probably-
was similar to
Probably
this.
15 to,
Okay.
15 to 20.
So you don't need a big expansive building every single time there's a meeting.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
part
but
of it was
you're right in what
safety,
you said, that money, if it's used up in the renovation of the town hall, that money's used up. Any other option, we're on our own. If there is another option, we'd be able to transfer some of that money to another option. To answer your question, thank you.
Is there?
Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're gonna go right.
My name is
You
Gary.
blended in with the chairs, man. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. My name is Gary Lincoln. I live in Green Garden. I'm fairly new here. I've only been here 25 years. And I say that in all seriousness because a lot of you people probably in this room have been here for generations. So I don't want to step on anybody's toes because I'm really kind of a newcomer. But I've been coming to township meetings for a while, not regular, not every meeting, but off and on for 25 years. I don't think I've ever seen more than 15 people at a meeting, as you said, except for solar farms. Then we pack the house. Then we pack the house. You better get there early, and you got to park across the street, or you got to park in the golf course and walk over. And I understand that, but let's be real about this. I mean, most of us aren't coming to township meetings unless there's a hot button issue, like solar farms or something, of that nature. I don't see why. I like option number one. The reason being is I like that old building, okay? It serves our purposes right now. I don't know that we need a park. It was funny because when I got my building permit here 28 years ago, whenever it was when I started building, Will County said I had to pay an impact fee to the park district. I had to get.
Sir, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to cut you off, if you don't mind. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to. I gotta start being fair because you guys.
How many, what are you giving?
I'm giving them 1 minute for now, because the questions I like to give you guys time to answer and not take away from you, but if we are mixing the comments in there, I gotta time you, so otherwise I'm not doing my job. Okay, go ahead. If you could state your name.
Side. And that I have is when is there projected
I don't think there's a date picked out as far as 2 years. That's when they're gonna start, or complete.
Start.
Complete.
2 years.
Okay. So 2 years. And this is mine. That part I just want to clarify because someone else asked a question. Is that part of the idea is the concern of the road and the safety associated with it. If that road expands and that turns into a light, that there's no space in between that road, which will be 3 lane, or there'll be a turning lane, and yeah, right. So when that happens, this will be more of a, I guess all these options might change, you know.
It's a safety issue.
Well, HOAs use that building. There's other people that are in that building. I know there's, I believe there was, what is a kid, Boy Scouts or whatever, has been in the Girl Scout, Cub Scouts, that's what it is. Yeah, there's more than just one meeting a month there. I know we have our one meeting, but there are plenty of other meetings there. And there have been legitimate safety concerns addressed to us. That's, we're just reiterating. I'm not trying to give an opinion here.
Thank you. My name is Bill Hennings. I'm kind of a new resident here, too. I've near 50 years, but, we're getting close. I kind of second the last gentleman that was over here speaking. I question, number one, moving that building. I really don't see a benefit of moving the building. The cost and then what you end up with having to redo that. And I would hope that we could work around the road situation and maybe keep it there. Or else just sell the building or sell the land, whatever, and if we go down to the land that's offered. Thank you.
Yeah, good thought. Just a comment. We cannot sell the land that the township building is on right now.
The point of moving it is because we own the building, we don't technically own the land.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
the thought.
it's been quick claim deed to us.
It's a quick claim
But the
deed.
restriction on the deed states very clearly that it is ours indefinitely as long as we use it for government purposes. When we stop using it for government purposes, then it reverts back to the family. So we cannot sell it and take that equity, if you will, and bring it anywhere with us.
So.
Hi, I'm Michelle Sprecher. I was just coming up to talk about option 1 and a concern that I have with option 1. With it being close to the road and a stoplight being put in, and if we widen the building or make it a bigger building, is it going to be a bigger blind spot? And I'm concerned about safety with vehicles. Semis are flying by because just last month in May, right where I work in Palos Heights, it happened in Palos Park though, by Plush Horse, an F-150 went through a church and injured 3 children and some adults. So my concern is it going to be a bigger blind spot? Is it going to, you have semis now going, 50, whatever the speed is going to be. So my concern is it going to be a safety issue keeping it there? Can you state your name?
Yeah.
Sorry, Michelle Sprecher, S-P-R-E-C-H-E-R.
I don't know if that's a direct question or not,
Well,
but
or just
I was
something, just a thought, just
Yeah,
a thought
that's a
to
good
think about with keeping option
point to
1.
make.
And I know the option of, the school, one gentleman said was nice, but I do believe they're widening the road closer to the school, and then that one lady's house is right there. Died out, maybe? Oh, no.
There you go.
That one lady's house is there, and I believe if they would have to put the parking lot on that side, and you have to, think about, be mindful of her house and putting a parking lot right next to her house.
And part of that is that lot is only so big, we can't make that lot any bigger. 'Cause that's all we got. Which means I have one question related to that, just is what would happen to the parking lot and the water, the irrigation from the roof and the parking lot? Where would that go and divert? And would we need a retention pond to keep that as is? 'Cause
By the way,
Sure, if
this
you'd
is
like.
public comments to introduce.
It was a question someone wrote down.
Part of the plan, phase two, would be to increase parking by tearing down the garage, which gives you more surface. The parking lot being paved, we've looked into using permeable paving. So in fact, you know, if you tear down the garage, make it a parking lot, which is shown in the, you get better drainage than what you have today. That entire garage into drainage area, parking lot would be drainage.
Thank you.
That was my question, actually. Can the grant money be used to tear that garage down? And do we use the garage right now, or is it not being used? Because I've been there when the meetings were small, but there was still no parking. Like, it was hard to find a place to park without getting, like, you know,
Going across the
blocked
street.
in or whatever. Yeah. I just was wondering.
I don't think we can use the grant money to tear down the.
Well, we could, we'd have to eliminate some of that, because what's up
Right.
on the screen now is utilized for that grant money. That we're done after that.
And keep in mind, we're not coming up with ideas just so we can find more ways to spend money. I think we all hate the idea of spending money or raising taxes. No matter what we decide as an electorate, as a community, we're going to try and get grant money for it all. You know, I mean, I'd like to add that just, I love looking for
Wes,
grant money.
just a reminder, in case there's residents, not electors,
Yes.
we could call public comments, so any resident could feel free to talk.
Yeah. If you guys, public comments. Linda, if you'd like to go. Sorry, ladies first.
There's a lot of issues that I see there. There's different issues there, different things that we need to concentrate on. One is we have park property that we have a farmer farm it. Ralph, I don't know if it was 8,000, 9,000, or 10,000, but he comes to the meeting and he presents a check twice a year. What we're looking for, and I support Ashley because it's a park. Let's do something for the kids, the young kids in Green Garden. I have 131 homes in my subdivision that's brand new, and there's no parks for the kids to go to. We have to get in a car and drive. So if her group is willing to donate and improve that property, why wouldn't we get together with her, the board gets together with her, the electors get together with you and get a petition going so that we can start the ball rolling. It's not a one and we're done. We have a park. Let's utilize it.
Thank you.
Jeff Becker. My family has been here for 50 years, and I went to 4-H at the old town hall. But, you know, it's too small, and everyone knows that. Going forward, we need something that's going to be bigger. When we had a meeting, it was over a solar facility that they were trying to put in. People had to stand. We can't have this meeting in our town hall because we have too many people. So anything that's major, we have to go outside of our town hall. They wonder why people don't go to the town hall meetings. That's one of the reasons. There's problems with that. There's not enough parking. It's right by the road. They could straighten out, if they tear down that building, the road, it'll be much better in the straightening of the road. And everyone knows that it is so close right now. It is not safe. That is the wrong way to go for. I think we should go, I would go for any of the other ones except for number one. And is there mold? Are there problems with it? It doesn't have a right, the sewer is a problem. It's not a big enough building. Think forward, not backwards. Just because I went to 4-H there 40 years ago, do we still have to stay at that building? Why are we here tonight?
Thank you.
We're here because we can't get in there.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm Victoria Theodosopoulos. I was kind of joking over here. I might be one of the newest Green Garden residents. I don't know, there might be some others. But I think kind of touching on some of the things, I'm a little indifferent as to where the building or what the building is. But I do feel like some people may be discrediting this whole need of a park situation. And as a younger family, I love hearing this. I absolutely love hearing that there would be space with a walking path, somewhere to play, sports fields, things of that nature in our immediate community. Because yes, I'm going to Frankfurt. I'm going to Peatone where my kids go to school. And that's fine and wonderful, but wouldn't it be amazing if we had amazing facilities that people were like, have you been to that Green Garden Park? It's phenomenal. I really think whatever direction happens with the building, that our township needs to think forward and think about the families that are moving into these subdivisions and that are buying in this area, and having community space is needed and desirable. I'm sorry. Oh, THEODO, all the other letters.
I was going to say, have fun with that.
Thank you.
Well, Christophilus is sort of, it's like half of that.
My name is Carol Cole, and I've been a resident here for some time. And I don't have a young family, and a lot of the residents are older. They may have grandchildren, but what happened to playing in your own yard, especially when, Green Garden Township requires you to have at least 5 acres to build. So what's wrong with those 5 acres that you're on? And, everything's transient these days. So if you're just having, this volume of people every now and then for important issues, and I agree with those other gentlemen and the lady that, there's other venues that you can use. And I don't know what to do about the building, but I don't think it's over, it's underused.
Thank you. All right.
So the question I have
Could you
is,
state your name?
Pastor Mike Shepard. So
Thank you.
as a pastor in a community with a church, right, one of the things we look at, how do we grow, right? How do you grow? How do you reach more people? We're sitting on $1 million and we have 13 acres of land here. And my biggest thought is, how do we reach more people and how do you bring more people in? And just figure out how you spend your money. And so for me, I think that having a community where you have, I think thinking of just meetings is too small. Having a building that you can do things that are community-related events, there's community-related activities, it's more than just the sports teams, it's everything that you can do outside. And I think that you need to think about that because that's what draws people in. And I think I'm interested in that as a church, bring more people to us to reach, which is good, but at the same time, I don't think it's about a building. It's about what is the potential we do as a community to reach other people. I'm a newbie here, I've been here 2 years, and living in Green Garden, and I think that it's just something you need to think about. I think sometimes we think too small.
Thank you. I'm going to go over here.
Yes, sir. My name's Lane Heatherwick. I moved down
I'm sorry,
here.
could you repeat your name one more time?
My name's Lane Heatherwick. I moved down this community in 1955, went to the one-room school, and that pipeline was being put in when I was a kid. So you got the also what I'm bringing up about is that the pipeline might be defunct and replaced too. The other thing is, I like old buildings too, but we got to look forward, like the other gentleman said. What's going to happen in the community down the road? Okay, I'm almost 80 years old. 30 years now, what's going to be going on here? And a new building would serve a lot of purposes, and making the building big enough that, because you're going to be green garden. A man also wanted to make this a town at one time. That name was Fred Gass. But anyway, where I'm going is that the building could be utilized for other functions than just meetings. You know, a lot of young people that are getting married and they can't afford these big halls, so they can afford a building that's in the township. The other thing that you need to look at is that even though the land of the current town hall is on a piece of land, what if somebody comes to that man who donated the land on a lease that you have right now to keep the building there and says, I want to sell the land?
That's a good question, but
And I had this
I don't think you
happen
can.
in Orland Park. My family had donated money to a church defunct. We sold the farm. We had to buy the land back from the church we donated it to sell it. So these are all things. But
I'm sorry, I'm going to go over here.
Yeah.
I can circle back if you don't mind. I got to be fair, okay?
Hi, Danielle Gustafson. I question if you've got $400,000 of money that you have not spent, why would you take $400,000 of good money and put it into an older building? I would think that you might take that $400,000 and invest it into something that would be worthwhile for our community.
Point.
my other comment was that my most concern is that the widening of the road, that they're not going to take, if they widen it and they want to take the land on the north side, then they're going to affect how many businesses on that road. Where it's on this side, it would affect the golf course, but that's not as big a deal. And so, that is my big concern, and the safety of the kids at the school if we move the road and shorten the distance up there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cesar Nava. I think Mark brought up a great idea of, obviously, we have the grant money, we got to use that. Everybody always, you keep on saying, like, we have to apply, we have to apply. We need to figure out the numbers. I think a young lady came up here and discussed the finances for everything. We need to figure out the numbers before we make a good, educated decision. You can't sit here and say, I would love plan number 3, but if you're saying it's going to cost us $2 million, like, it's a numbers game, guys. And it is true. If you don't use it, you lose it. You can't just grab that and invest it. Great idea. Can't do it. Not with grant money. It's earmarked for something. But we need to figure out, you say we have to apply for it. We should be able to. No, we can't have a should. We will be able to. We need those answers. You can't just go up there and do it. Mark had a great idea. I'd say vote for number 1. We have the grant money. Use it for phase 1. And look at what we can do with whatever the finances we currently have for phase 3. Great idea.
Rozak. So my question is about purchasing this building at 10808 Monee, Manhattan. Are you planning on doing a park and a community center there as well?
It's an option, obviously.
So
There would be room for a very small park. It's sitting on 3.6 acres.
So I understand that. So the only issue I saw was it's zoned as C1 commercial. Parks and community centers are not allowed in that zoning. So you have a zoning issue there. With the grant, why wouldn't you use that? That's free money. As far as I'm aware, if you don't take that grant, you lose it, right? So why wouldn't we use that? And you said it's from Will County. What part of Will County? Is it historic preservation? Is it from a certain division from Will County? Because I know there's different divisions within the county.
Trustee Ralph?
Do you have could you repeat that question? I'm sorry.
So with it being a Will County grant, is it from a specific division within it? And is it possible, say, if it's not from historic preservation, could you request an additional grant to cover the additional phase of renovations?
It was not for historic. It was, I believe it was for irrigation or water.
Okay.
Bill Wagner?
So would it be an option to maybe reach out to historic preservation, because it is a historic building, and get additional grants? Is that
It's not a historic building. people have tried to make that happen.
you can
but it's-
you can nominate that. You go through the county and go through the process.
Yeah, I believe a handful of people have been, yeah, I don't think you can, right?
I don't think
Sarah,
anybody,
do you know
it's
that?
never been applied for.
Right. So, so then a thought maybe is renovate it to bring it up to code in that sense, and then go back, nominate for historic, and maybe see if historic preservation could do another grant. It's an option. No, I understand that, but if you can get the grant money to do it, that's free money. That's not taxpayer money. It's
We're
free
always
money.
going to look for grant money as much as we can, trust me. No matter what we do, I.
Just a thought, but
Yeah.
I
Good
think it'd be
thought.
stupid not to take the grant money, so.
Very good thought, thank you. Okay.
Hi, my name's Bill Wagner. Many of you have probably seen my PowerPoint presentation, and I did that so you could see a lot of detail. If they're only going to allow me a minute or two, I'm going to have to go fast. But for the first one, continuing with the renovation, grant money is still our tax dollars. We already pay, was an argument against it. Cost for us is 1/3 of 1 cent of our tax money.
There's a call.
Okay. Argument against renovating, we don't own the building. Well, we do own the building. The property is quitclaim deed, which means it belongs to the township for government use forever, as long as we use it for the township purposes. We can't sell the building. Even though it doesn't have historic landmark status right now, it can still be applied for. And it has been said at the county land use department that it does have historic significance. We can always find township uses for that building, and we can use it as a museum, homeowners meetings, continue to use it for our monthly meetings, and it's inexpensive to maintain. Arguments for renovation. If you've got the handout, you can look how we can tear down that garage and
Bill,
put in
I'm
parking.
sorry, but this is a separate meeting, but this isn't meant for you. Defer.
No. Wes?
Okay. So I've showed insufficient parking as a safety issue.
That's not really how this is working. We're not, you guys don't come in here with like a token, okay, for a minute. But I know you like to take over this meeting.
I don't want to take over, I just want to make sure that.
If you want to promote a specific one beyond this, you can have another meeting. I get it, but I gotta be fair, okay? Well, this is all about the town hall. Guys, my job is to be fair. I hate to tell you guys this. I'm not trying to get your pitchforks out. Guys, I cut everybody else off in a minute. I don't think it's fair just because you guys like Bill. I get it. I like everybody. I did, but guys, what does he need to finish for when he handed you all a packet?
Because there's language to go with it.
Sorry.
I make a
Guys.
motion that you're taking up more time just arguing about this than letting me finish the presentation.
Okay, I will give you 1 minute max. Bill, I'm not trying to be mean here, but
Arguments for renovation,
you're going
insufficient
beyond
parking,
your
and
time
safety. It can be resolved. You tear down that garage. There's pictures in the handout with ingress and egress, and it's no different than a corner gas station lot. So that answers all that. If you don't use the grant money, what you risk is credibility with those who assign the grants. Potentially, it precludes us from receiving grants in the future, and there could be a risk of having to pay back grant money that we've already spent. Okay. Decent option is to move the building, but only if eminent domain is going to pay it, and let somebody else pay to move it. And to do that, you want to increase the fair market value by renovating the building.
giving it office space and ADA compliant. And you also want to think about this, keep that building centrally located, because if that building moves, you're going to have a gas station there. That's a perfect lot for a gas station. And I think this township...
Bill, please, for the sake of just peaceful, just be like a gentleman, please. For the rest of us, I got to be fair. You did hand out your packet, okay? It has everything you were sharing. This is still public comments.
Hi, I have a question I'm hoping to see clarity on. I know we're talking a lot about grant money, losing it, having, wanting to use it as free money. What is the grant money actually tied to? Is it tied to the town hall? Because it gives the impression that we need to tie the grant money to town hall, and therefore we would be able to use that extra, the remaining $400,000 for option 2 and for option 3 and even 4. Is that correct? Taylor Broman.
Could you spell your last name?
Broman. You'd have to apply for it, right?
No, it's already applied for. The grant money could go to a different option.
Okay.
What I was saying earlier was, if, for example, the engineering for option 1 that we've already invested.
The 100,000. So we might lose 100,000, but we still have 400,000 that could be used for 2 and 3 and 4. So if you sink all of your money into option 1, that's all you'll get is that small building forever. And otherwise, you could use that 400,000 for something that has future potential. So it's not just free money. You can actually use it for the future.
Yeah, it could follow. It could follow it. Yes.
We are cutting off at 9. Yeah, guys, just so you know, we are trying to be out of here by 9. So if you do have your comments, please, that's part of the reason of keeping it to 1 minute. If you guys had 2 minutes, we'd be here all night. So please, Jim.
Jim Hilliard. There's been a lot of good comments tonight. I'm looking at it from a financial standpoint, and some of the numbers are not exact. We've heard that. So it's hard to make an opinion on it. But what I've heard is we have $150,000 in engineering. If we don't use the grant, we might have to pay $75,000. So if we use the grant, we get a great build, we get the same building upgraded with air conditioning, it gets upgraded versus not using it. So if we don't upgrade it and keep it the way it is, we give $75,000 to somebody for nothing. If we use the grant money, the building gets updated, then after the building's updated, then we can look at the other options. I think Mark was right. Just go with stay the course, do the building, upgrade it, take a breath, and figure out what we're going to do. If we're going to get a new building, buy an existing building, or do whatever. Thank you.
Thank you.
Question or comment? I have a question. Dean, you keep implying that the grant money could be moved.
I'm not implying it. I'm stating it. Yes.
From whose authority are you stating it?
I have had 2+ hours of direct conversation with Accenture, who's the company that is processing this for Will County. And she has told me that it can follow a different option.
Is that for sure?
Yeah, it is for sure.
Is that a guarantee?
It's never a guarantee until...
Okay, that's the answer.
Well, that's how
okay.
money works.
Well, let me address that, please.
Please.
It's only not a guarantee because she said in order for it to be a guarantee, because I asked that same question, she said you have to tell us which option and give it to us, and then they look at it. Crete, I believe, just did that. They went to a whole new building. So it can be done. But it's also an option that they don't approve. She said you could just about bank on it, but I'm like you. I can't give you a guarantee, obviously, because I'm not the decision maker. But I will tell you that after 2 to 3 hours of 2 or 3 conversations with her, we have a meeting set up actually next week. So yes, it can be transferred. It can be. So please don't try
You wanna
to
go over here first?
tell us that it's not. Because you're not correct on that.
Do we own the building too?
I've already stated that I have
Please, guys, I don't
confirmation.
want to have a fight between,
So-
I know. We got to keep it moving. Oh, is it Rizzo? Rizzo? Is that good enough? Or Jane? No.
No,
Barb, I'm
Barbara,
sorry.
Barbara Rizzo.
Not too many names today, if you don't.
Hi, I'm Jay Faust, and I just have a quick comment. We moved from Frankfurt. When we did 10 years ago, our taxes there were $18,000 a year. It was congested. We liked the charm and the open space of the area here. Our taxes are half of what they were there. If we wanted what Frankfurt has to offer, we would have stayed there. And Jay Faust.
Could you spell your last name?
Faust.
Thank you.
Somebody over there first.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there he is.
I didn't know if Don was here, the past supervisor, and he could probably answer the question as far as the grant money, if it could be moved or not. So.
Oh, what was your name? Is that real? Seriously?
No. Pete Petnon.
You got that?
So you
pass
had
this
mentioned
down?
that this comes to a vote through us when you make a decision. Yes?
Unless we went through along with one.
Okay, unless we go with one. But you have to have a decision in order to do the grant money. So how does that work? If you go to the county and say, this is what we're choosing, but you haven't gotten approval yet from, yeah, how does that work?
We felt compelled to one of these, which, keep in mind, none of us are. This is the point of this meeting. But if we felt compelled, we would then choose to have an election, I guess, or a vote.
Yeah, the process right now that the board is going through is we wanted to hear from the residents. And once we hear from the residents, the board will discuss this. By the way, it would be discussed in an open meeting. We have a workshop once a month, and we also have a regular monthly meeting. And we would kind of decide in our own self which option. And then once we're comfortable with it, we'd end up having to call another meeting to vote on it.
And then we present.
And then we would present that to Accenture, who has told me they would have an answer very quickly for us as long as we gave them an option. They can't do anything until we vote on an option.
Tim Staub. How much money is currently sitting in a capital fund?
$800,000.
So the township is sitting on $800,000 that could be invested for
A new building.
a new building, and it wouldn't impact taxes, correct?
Correct.
Is that on top of the 400? So we really have 1.2 we could invest in a new building?
That would have to
If you use the 300,000 or 400,000 from the grant money, you're saying?
Yes.
If we were able to do that?
Yes, yeah, we'd be able to utilize the grant money, and then we're free to vote to invest any other monies.
And what was the intent of collecting the 800,000 over the years? What was the intent of that?
It was for
From my understanding, we weren't the board then, it was the previous administration, and even before that, the money was gathered for a town hall in the capital fund.
Was it directly taxed into a capital fund, or was it taxed through township and then moved into a capital fund? Basically an overtax.
Yeah,
Was it overtax?
Bill, I'm not going to give you another minute, but can you answer?
Probably about three boards ago, or maybe a little more. We had a lot of money left over, and what that money is surplus money left over from the end of the fiscal years, then we move it at the end of the year into the capital fund. 3 boards ago, we knew we wanted eventually to have a bigger town hall, build some park facilities down where our park property is, but to do the town hall or a community center, we needed to purchase more land because we can't do it on park property. Park property was paid for by subdivisions going in, and a lot of you who paid for building permits paid a park donation fund. That can only be spent to buy park property, and that property can only be spent for park purposes. So we bought 7.14 acres adjacent to the park property with the intent of building a community park shared facility so that you don't have to build the infrastructure for both the park and the new town hall for bigger facilities. And that's what option 3 is all about.
So option
Bill,
3.
I'm sorry, I have a quick question. That property we bought was right next to property we already owned, right?
It's adjacent to the park, to the park property.
Isn't there
we already
another
bought.
lot that's 10? Yeah, if you can go back 2 slides.
So just to clarify though, Bill, option 3 has essentially been the intent historically?
Yes.
Thank you.
Bill is referencing the park district.
Yeah, it's this 6 acres we can build.
Yeah,
on
go
that.
to the other one, it's bigger there, you can
That's
see
the
that.
30 acres, that's all park, right?
Yes.
This is the adjacent lot you guys bought. That we own as well, right, the 6 acres. And we
Correct.
built-
Now, to be realistic about it, you'd want to do a land swap with the park property to put that 7.14 acres on the highway.
I was gonna say, because the only issue was
Right.
there's no access.
Yeah. So it's a perfect setup for a new building. At some point, it's a great opportunity to put a community center. The walking trails, it could be a park. The whole 30 acres could be turned into park land with walking trails and what Ashley said earlier. A lot of different options on that. The building would not have to sit on the 30 acres.
I want to ask Bill over there, how much money's in the Park District Fund right now?
Green Garden Township does not have a park district.
Where'd all the money go that we put in the Park District?
It purchased that 36 acres.
I thought, wasn't some of that donated by Warmicke?
No.
No? That corner right there?
Could you state your name?
Warmke, the one on the
Pete Galvin.
That very first park property we bought was a 6 acres. Then we got the opportunity to purchase the 30 acres adjacent to it. And then the last one was the 7.14 acres, which we didn't have any more park money left, park donation fund left, so we used the town funds to purchase that with the anticipation of eventually needing it to build a bigger town hall, community center, sports complex.
I just had a quick comment. Many of you maybe don't know, any Green Garden resident that utilizes Peatone Park District facilities or activities pay an out-of-district fee because we don't pay into the Park District taxing body for Peatone Park District. So, yeah, all of Green Garden, because we don't have a park district, we're considered out of district. So it's, you know, when you're gonna put your kids in something that's in Peatone, instead of it being $25 a kid, it's now $32 a kid because we're out of district. So having a space of our own and being proud of where we live is also more cost effective for our families.
Thank you.
So just a point of order, we've talked about cost. So one of the things we do here at the church is our food pantry, and we've looked at building a separate building just to the north of here for a food pantry. It was going to be 80 by 120. We priced it out. It was a little under $600,000 to put the building up. Half it would be a gym where we do our staging like you see outside there. There'd be some classrooms in there, and then the bottom would be storage. So it's a huge building. So when you look at option 3, $600,000, and you can scale it any way you want to, but that gives you a rough idea what that would cost.
I just want to encourage everyone, because it's getting late and people are starting to leave. We passed out a sheet. If you so desire, circle which option you like, please, and hand it in. And any comments that you like. Remember, you could
This
do
is not a
that.
vote, it's just to get a consensus.
Yeah,
Help
just so
us.
more input could be
Wait, I'm sorry.
brought to us.
Oh, yeah, let's say-
The box is in the back of the room there.
Sorry. If you could state your name.
Hi, this is Penny Massett. I just want to say that a park land and a park district is two different things. You have to create a park district, you'll be taxed on that park district. So you cannot put something on a park without having a park district, that I don't think. But you have to have a park district, and we don't have a park district at all. So you'd have to create one, you'd have to have a board, and you'd be taxed on it.
You could also not speak directly to him. If you could, did you have something? I think they said, whoever it was, someone comes and presents a check. What was it? Yes.
Correct. And we also pay property tax on that part, those parcels, because they are farmed, and that's why the money goes into the town fund. And if the township can, if they have the budget, put park stuff on that property.
My name's Tom Demma, D-E-M-M-A. I'm not trying to sway, I don't even know which way I go, but I'm just saying that I don't know if people realize how close Manhattan Monee Road and Center Road are gonna eventually be to that old building. You're literally gonna be within 10 feet of that building. And if you tear down that old pole barn behind it, you're only gonna gain maybe top 6 parking spots. It's not like you're getting 30 parking spots on that pole barn. You're gonna get 4 to 6 parking spots. That's my only comment.
Take a look in your handout, and you can see how many parking spots you can actually get in that.
Bill, please. Come on, man. Is there anyone else? You got one back there? There you go. If you can state your name, just for the record.
All set. All right. My name's Jim Michaelwitz. Been out here for about 27 years. Been to several of the meetings in the old building. And a lot of the consensus is that building is too small right now. And it's been too small for a couple of decades. What's going to happen in the future? You're going to spend all this money. You're going to have a nice looking old building, but it's going to be worthless. Okay? It all boils down to being a good steward of what we've been given, and I think we should use this money for the 43 acres, put up a new building. Does not have to be a huge building, and there's still going to be money left over in the 800,000.
Thank you. You want to say something? You got a comment? Public comments. Anything about cause? I don't know if you want to. Yeah. I'll just say Jim Paul.
My name is Jim Paul, and I've lived out here for just about 50 years. Harlem Avenue was a gravel road back then. I don't think the county is going to, the right-of-way on that road is 75 feet. So that building's going to be moved. It's going to have to be moved. So investing in a building like that really doesn't make sense in regards to it. And, you know, I'd rather put, like the two gentlemen said before, I'd rather look forward in regards to the purchase of another building or even build a building. The other problem is you're going to have a stoplight at Center and Manhattan Monee Road. There's no way that the county, I know, has made some comments in regard to bending the road. They're not going to bend the road.
Yeah, thank you. Is there anyone else? Aim. I know you've been holding out.
I'll pass that. You know what? I'll pass.
No. Come on. I'm ready for you.
Hi, Jane Bouchong. My concern is that we have not done enough research on any one of these options, especially number one, which has been pushed. We know there's mold in the building. That's been detected, yet we're still holding meetings there and renting it out and things like that. We haven't even ever tried to obtain a permit from the county, so we have no idea what the county's going to come in and say. We're talking about upgrading HVAC, but has anyone looked at the electrical? The electrical's well under amped. It's not going to handle the current an upgrade for an HVAC without electrical upgrade. There's additional health issues that are a possibility. We haven't tested for radon. We haven't tested for a lot of those things. There is discussion. There used to be there was one fuel tank that was pulled out from underneath there. There's still some discussion that there could be another fuel tank. That's EPA. We're talking big bucks if that actually turns out to be the case. There's just not enough research that's been done on this. Before we dump any money anywhere, we need to do research.
Unless someone wants to.
Wes, could I comment on that permit?
Please.
Yeah, late this afternoon, as supervisor, I got an email from the Will County Permit Department saying that we are in default of our permit. And I emailed her back and called her, but left a voice message. My question was, why are we in default? Is it just because nothing's happened to this point, or is there a problem with the permit? So I intend on finding that out. A permit was applied for from the previous administration, and we just got to figure out what's going on with that. For the renovation, option one.
Did I see any other hands?
Wasn't that part of the engineering study? It was $150,000
for the permit?
Yeah, oh yeah, that was part of it, sure. Yes, sir. No, I don't know why it's defaulted, but we're going to find out hopefully tomorrow. Yeah, that could be it. It could just be because there's been no activity moving it forward.
My name is Jim Ross. I'm kind of leaning towards option 3. I think we need to look towards the future and progress. I think things, with a nice building, other things that we could do, I think that would make the area more desirable instead of putting money into an outdated building, and especially with the area growing, the building's just going to become more and more useless, especially if we could use some of the grant money towards a new building. That, in my opinion, would be the most logical thing to do, because now you own it and you don't have to worry about anything you could sell it if you needed to in the future. And I just think you need to look towards the future, and I think that's the way to go.
13 seconds. Can I give it to anybody? I saw. Oh no, you already got your question in. Was there anybody else? We got less than 15 minutes, guys. I think we're gonna. Okay. He had his hand up before you, if you don't mind, and we'll go to you next.
I wasn't very good, but.
Hello, my name's Brett, wrestler. We're 8516 Stunkel Road. The whole reason that we came here tonight, I thought, was to try to utilize the grant money, which was $500,000. We don't have enough capital to build bigger buildings and all these nice things. I mean, that's down the road in the future. I think we take our $500,000, we renovate the existing building, we keep the pole building up, use that as part of hall space. We only get 30 people, they say, and if we do have to go lease a space out somewhere, that's what we do for the bigger meetings. But I don't see knocking down that pole building it has any advantage to increasing the size of the hall. We can't go any bigger with the hall if we knock that pole building down. That's our square footage, So we have to use the grant money or we lose it in 2 years, and by 2028, I heard. or 26. So all these future plans with these other buildings, grant money is going to be gone. We're going to lose it. So we might as well use it on that original building, have our meetings there, and in the future we build something really nice. I agree with the parks and in the 1 minute.
Thank you. Sorry, man. Unless someone wants a gift of time. I guess if we're going to do it for Bill, we could do it for everybody, right? I'm just kidding. Can agree with that. Be careful with Jewish. Yeah. All right. You got.
I know you're closing off, but I just want to say, I want to thank you all for your decorum and your respect of one another.
I
It
will
was-
second that.
Did well for my heart. I'm thankful that I'm part of a community that respects each other, so thank you.
Yes. Yes, thank you guys for that. I appreciate it. Obviously, there was. If you don't mind, I'll close this out in prayer.
Wait, hold on, are we done?
Yeah.
Can
Oh.
I say?
Are we all done? Is that
Let me-
everybody?
Let me just.
Okay.
Because I have to, we need a
Sure.
motion to adjourn.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
To adjourn.
We got one. Can I get a second? Well, there's a bunch of seconds. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And guys, if you can turn in your, we got a bunch of eyes. Sorry. If you could turn in your thing in the box at the back, for those of you that care, I'm going to say a quick prayer if you don't mind. Ready? Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for just bringing us here, getting us all here safely, Lord. Be with everybody as they go home. And just let peace reign in our hearts for all this, the rest of the evening, Lord. Thank you for giving us a good night. In your Son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen.